Hey there, YouTube friends and family. We are here at the Cornwall Handgun Club. This is the rifle range part of it. Here with my brother, whose phone is going crazy. And I said kind of the theme today is, well, we wanted to tidy up some zeros. We got rough zeros on the last time we were out, and then we were kind of like running out of time. So I wanted to tidy up some zeros, and especially I want to zero it for what I'm going to be using. So very important, guys, out there. Zero for whatever it is you're going to use your firearm predominantly for. For instance, if this was just a shooter for paper, I'm going to zero it for full metal jacket stuff. But I want to deer hunt with this. It's a fantastic bush gun. I love this firearm so much. It's ridiculous. Bang for the buck. This thing, like, I was kind of, you know, when they said like how much fun it is and you know how accurate it is, I'm like, oh, come on now. It's a 16-inch barrel on a 7.62 by 39, never really known as a super accurate. I mean, listen to the stock, right? Listen. Like, it's not a precision $1,500, $2,000 rifle. It's inexpensive. I'm not going to say cheap. I'm going to say inexpensive. But I love shooting this thing. It's so much fun. The scope on it, if you're wondering, this is a Bushnell Trophy. It's an LVO. It's only a 1:6 in the zoom, but it's more than enough because this is basically a bush gun. We do a lot of I'm going to say sub 120 yards or meters range for deer hunting. So I'm going to zero it for this black Hornady black 7.62 by 39 123 SST. Really nice hot ammo, great stuff. Muzzle velocity 2,350 feet. I'm also going to check it with this relatively inexpensive Federal soft point stuff, and yeah, the velocity is 2,350 as well. So again, 123 soft point. It should be fairly close on the zero, so we're going to check that out. But guys, if you are looking for a rifle, and I mean, this is, you know, listen, this is my own opinion, okay? But if you are looking for a rifle that you can put together for around $1,100 Canadian mark, and you don't know what to get one of these. They're awesome. I love it. My brother picked up the 5.56. I personally like the Soviet round, but the 5.56, the advantage of that is AR style mags. So you can get the AR pistol mags and carry 10 rounds. This takes the 30, the mini 30 magazines, which you can buy in a 10 round, 20 round capacity, but you're not going to find that here in Canada. You're just not. So that's the advantage he has. So 5 rounds though, I'm only hunting with it. It's more than enough. And this is, again, fun. So I'm going to tune up the zero and see where we go from that. This doesn't grip it as well as that Bergera, I'll tell you.
Slippy.
I see that. It went up. Oh, what the? No, I can't even get up there.
Pull the bag back.
No, it's okay. Wow.
This is pie plate grouping. 3 rounds.
5 actually.
Oh, you're doing 5.
Yeah.
Okay, you're daring. Well, 5.56, little tiny rounds. Yeah, I guess you're doing 4 rounds.
Is that 4 round grouping then?
4 round grouping. you should definitely be getting sub MOA with this. Sub MOA.
More zoomies.
Oh. Keep himself, you see, he's making excuses already. He was handicapping himself, shooting through my picture. It's top with a Nikon 3x9, by the way, which you can't buy anymore, which is unfortunate because it's actually.
Oh, the 30-06 is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a Vortex Viper. We're still talking about the Remington 783.
Yes.
I could give you the 5th round if you want to really do a 5 round. Tiny little bullet. Yeah, it's got a hold open. Remember? So you have to drop the mag a bit.
That's lame.
It is a bit lame. But could be useful if you remembered it did that. I think it chambered. We're going to find out. Watch if he flinches. Let's see if my brother flinches when he goes click. It did not go click. All right. Hold on a second. I want to see what this pie plate looks like. Probably
Rounds
getting
come
a
out
nice.
nice and clean.
I'm still recording, just so you don't see anything. Oh, dude, you have like 3 touching basically, and you pulled 2, like badly. Like, yeah. You see it?
Yeah.
Is it blinking? Yep. Is it blinking? That was making. So getting back into it, not too bad. This is like zeroing. Anyways, just trying to walk it over, walk it down. This is a good group, right? When you can put your finger in the hole. Good group there. I think that was 7 or 8 rounds. Little flyer. And you know, like with dealing with the lead ammo especially, that Savage has a tendency of almost scraping the second round sometimes when it's feeding the first round. So with the lead ammunition, it's going to make a little groove in it, or sometimes I got a half feed and I knew the next round was going to be a flyer. So, you know, again, you got like a couple of finger holes here and there, and then some decent anyway. And this is where my zero was at the very end. So I'm not messing around with it at that point. It's hitting the bull. It's hitting above and below. So that's probably just breathing on my part. But you can see where I was at the beginning.
Oh my.
All right, now I have my brother who's trying to run some. He also just put his bipod on, so he's trying to get that all set up. He's gonna try and run some gongs. Oh my God, that bipod looks so cute on the end of that. I mean, it's got a clunky action, but it's hard to explain. It's like, there's a hit. Oh man, you can tell the difference in kinetic energy between the 5.56 and the 7.62 by 39. That dong just hardly freaking moved. A solid hit, but again, it's just barely swinging. I think you hit it on the side.
Yeah, that one did a little bit of a twist
Yeah.
and blew. Did a spin in a circle.
Again, nice 2. Can you make it 3 for 3? It's swinging pretty good now.
Oh.
Okay, we'll call that a draw.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I did not do some kind of conclusion video on this Ruger American Rancher 7.62 by 39. I kind of bought this on a bit of a whim. and I think I alluded to it a couple times, but you know, all the video that was out there saying like how fantastic this thing is, how well it shoots, you know, just etc. etc. So I was like, man, I gotta see if this lives up to the hype. And wow, it did not let me down. I loved this thing so much. It is so much fun and a fantastic multi-purpose firearm. If you want to just go out and plink away, you can do it all day with this thing. You're not going to beat up your shoulder. It's got a good butt pad back here, very robust, absorbs a lot of it. And plus 7.62 by 39, it's a pretty short cartridge. You're not going to get beat up by that anyway. It's available in like all kinds of different cartridges. My brother, you'll see him shooting, he's got a 5.56 one. I like this one better because I think it opens up more opportunity as far as practical applications, because you can now start hunting big game. And if you're looking for a bush gun and you don't want a lever, I mean, bolts, what are you going to get for a semi? There's nothing left in Canada that you can pick up as a semi that's affordable. This is very cheap. So, talk a little bit about it. Again, it only comes in one color. It's flat dark earth. If you don't like flat dark earth, paint it. That would be my solution. This might get a paint job, you know, little DIY. It does have a free floating barrel. I wouldn't say it's the greatest float job on that. I've seen all kinds of videos where people have done like stiffen up the front stock, because it is. All right, so let me just do a little pros and cons. Pros, there's a ton of them. As I said, it's light. It comes in just under 6 pounds, dry stock with an empty magazine. Now you put a scope on it. You can actually get 10 round. This takes mini 30, but the 5.56 takes AR, so you can use the LAR mags, like the pistol mags. So as you can, you know, so it's very light. That's a pro. That's a pro. In my mind, that is a pro. It's just over 36 inches long, so it's short, compact. That's a pro. I mean, it's not an unattractive firearm. That's a pro. Aesthetically, it's very pleasing. You got that nice Ruger emblem here on the bottom that just stands out against that flat dark earth. The bolt, it's a 3-lug bolt. Okay, so you will not have a problem chambering, ejecting. It works. It's flawless in that. I had no misfeeds. Well, I did have like a misfeed or two, but that was my own error. Just the magazine wasn't fully seated or whatever. So just, you know, if you do the old magazine shake at the end of it, you won't have that. It's got a good trigger on it. Another pro. I mean, it just works, and it's so much fun to shoot. I love this firearm so much. I am so glad that I picked one up. Cons, if I can think about them. I mean, even the bolt, which, like, okay, you can't replace the bolt handle, but with that throw, I find that that thing is just right. Like, I can get a good purchase on it. I can cycle it. So cons. Mine seems to like a closed action reload. So what do I mean about that is, with the bolt all the way forward, put the magazine in, and then it'll cycle. If I don't do that, sometimes just because of how the top round is sitting, it doesn't seem to want to pick it up to chamber it properly, and it'll get like halfway in. And you want to force it, because then you're going to end up with a crimp on the X of the casing, or worst case, like a mar on the head of the bullet, which could affect your accuracy. So that part of it, okay, I guess you could call that a con. When you first pick it up, it feels a little cheap. It sounds cheap, okay? Listen. It's hollow, okay? Now, my dog thinks somebody's knocking on the door. So there's ways that you can fix that. You know, you could take the butt pad off. There's a couple of screw holes back there. You can get onto them. You can fill it up with spray foam. You can do some epoxy. You know, you could even do some JB weld in there to kind of, but it's not that annoying. It doesn't bother me. I've seen people, you know, take epoxy or JB weld and stiffen up that front stock a little bit just by filling the, there's some gaps in there. If you wanted to do that, I guess that would help. Maybe give you a little bit more weight. If you really wanted to try to turn this into a short barrel, long range accuracy, I mean, this cartridge is not going to be accurate anyway. Certainly not past 300. The bolt sounds a little, for lack of a better term, zippery. Okay, so you can hear that. You know, I kind of like it. I kind of like the sound of it. I'm not going to call it music, but it's got, you know, an old school kind of sound and feel to it. So if you have any vintage World War II era firearms, that's what it kind of reminds me of. There's a little bit of slop in the bolt, but it works, right? Man, the cons about this thing, there's almost none. I wish I had another one. I'd like to have one in every single cartridge just because they're so much fun. And here's the biggest pro of the whole lot of them. Accuracy. Man, these things will shoot. Like, I can't get over how well this thing shoots. I could do a side-by-side comparison with my Bergara that I spent $2,200. This, I think I'm all in at $1,100? Max. Like, max. And so I was shooting some Hornady Black because that's probably, I'm going to probably use this as my deer hunting rifle because, I mean, you're shooting 120 grain-ish ammo, and that is like a perfect weight for taking out some whitetails. So, probably going to use this for deer hunting. That's my grouping at 100 meters messing around, really. I mean, I've got no bipod on this. You know, take that for what it's worth. And I'm I mean, you could call that an inch. Maybe just a little bit over an inch. But here's the one that really shocked me. So my brother picked up some inexpensive, I'm not going to call it cheap because no ammo is cheap anymore. And sorry about the condition of the target itself, but this is Federal soft point, okay? And you can see I'm not trying to cheat. There's 3 rounds there, okay? And if I show you the back of the paper, you can see better. But then I thought I was going to reuse the target, so I put stickers over top of it, and I didn't end up reusing the target because I couldn't bear myself. But I'm like, what? Like, that's a half an inch grouping at 100 meters with a 16-inch barrel firing inexpensive Federal soft point ammo. I love this thing so much. I know that I've done a couple of shorts on it, and you know, people have been like replying positively, you know, saying like, I love that setup, I love the firearm, and this scope matchup I think is the perfect setup. This is a little Bushnell like trophy series QA, so quick acquisition. It's got illuminated reticle, like not a reticle actually, like a dot in the center of the target. Low on the zooms, it's only a 1:6, but it's got your throw on the top. I like Bushnell scopes. I like Bushnell scopes because they give you decent clarity for the price, and also because there's a lifetime guarantee. I've got some good Weaver mounts on there, and I would recommend getting a good mount. How many times have I had friends out in the range, they're like, man, I can't keep my scope zeroed. And I look, and they're using like the cheapest scope mounts possible. So don't cheap out on scope mounts. Get some decent scope mounts. I've been very lucky with these ones. These 12 bolt Weavers seem to hold on really well for the Weaver. And you can get them in 1 inch. You can get them in the 30 mil. You can get them like for all applications. Get yourself a scope mount. Get it from the factory. Check your screws, right? Make sure this thing is properly torqued in. Check the torque specs. And make sure it's properly torqued down. You are not going to have to worry about whether or not the pillar, if there's paint between the pillar on this particular rifle, because it is a synthetic color. Okay, so there's no paint applied. It's a flat dark earth, that's how it comes. I love, oh, another pro I just thought of. I love the location of that safety. I can get right on it, right? And very intuitive. I've got a few shotguns that function the same way. I like that style of safety. Or, as I've mentioned, I also like the little lever here on the right side. I'm used to that. Doesn't take very much to get on it. Pro, I would say, that hand grip angle is a little on the old school side, right? I'd like to see a little bit more of a drop, maybe, a little bit more of a curve to get more of a kind of a pistol grip feel to it. But other than that, man, for $1,100, what's your immediate competition? Maybe a Savage Access. My son's got a Savage Access. Shoots great. Lovely firearm. Very accurate. You know, the barrel is, this I would say has got like a medium barrel on it. So you could do some, you know, successive shooting, threaded as well. So if you wanted to add a flash hider or a muzzle brake on there just for coolness, you could do that. What this rifle is really begging for is a suppressor, a nice canister on the end of that. But we're in Canada, so that's a prohibited device. So we can't have that because, you know, whatever reason. You can let me know what you think is the reason. We all know what the reason is. We don't have to argue about that. We're certainly all going to agree about the same thing, right? It's a silly rule. But, I mean, there's not a lot of rifles anymore, unfortunately. They're in this price point. Unless you drop down in caliber, you start collecting 22s. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe some of the older vintage rifles. I mean, you can still get an SKS for 600 bucks if you're lucky. The Chinese one. I don't know if the Russian ones are. I already have one, so one that fell into the lake. Anyway, I would like you guys very much, if you are digging this setup, go ahead and click that like. I wish there was a love button. I would like to see how much love is out there for these rifles. Let me know if you have one. Let me know what you guys are using it for. Let me know what caliber is in it. And let me know what your experience is in it. And maybe I just got a gem. But from what I've seen, they're all gems. There's no lemons. Like, these things are just little tanks. And I love them. I love them. Anyway, please click that subscribe button for me. You're helping me out. I love to see the comments coming from outside of the country, outside of the world, you know, on the other side of the world about the firearms you guys are using. And like I said, this is a great little, like a scout gun. I'm using mine for a bush gun. I hunt maximum range is like 120 meters. So this is perfect. You know, and it's still got a nice length of pull as well, as you can see. So, you know, if you're normal size arms, you've got a full size rifle. It's just a short barrel. And I mean, you could cycle that all day. There it is, guys. The Ruger American Rancher 7.62 by 39. I love it. It's become one of my favorite rifles that I own. And I've got a lot more that are a lot more expensive. But this thing is just a gem. Have a good one.